Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to bring this to your attention. Many people have did mathematics without field testing and has failed, like Elon Musk. This is the reason why he's doing recalls on his cars right now. So, listen to what this so-called scientist has to say, and then we're going to give you some commentary of something that Lloyd G. Stovall put out and is field tested.
Again, I'm using academia stuff. I'm sorry, Chris. I that's all I got. I I only got what I've been taught. The sciences that we know what they are of today. That's all I have.
Someone will say that you have to experiment it to see it. So that's why I like to hear any form of communication from network Metatron. But it seems like you went silent, so I don't know. Usually,
Wait, so you don't have to experiment to know the truth. The reason why the science is the way it's set up and it's so beautiful, that's why we do the science. So we don't have to go revisit this stuff. We know what Kirchhoff's current law is. We know what Kirchhoff's voltage law is. We know what the Ohm's law is. We know, like, these things are fundamental things that you don't have to go and revisit. I don't have to go back in the lab and do that. That makes no sense. So, yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
You have someone here, I don't know, is it Hello Energy?
Absolutely. I understand exactly what you're asking, and this is a perfect place in the book to blend real-world experimentation with the corrected theoretical model. The final chapter should not sound like an apology for the math. It should emphasize what really matters: field testing, battery aging, system behavior over time, and why the theory and numbers alone aren't the whole truth. Like a seasoned inventor who's done the work, not just the math. Chapter, What the Numbers Don't Show You. Let me be clear about something. Numbers matter. Math is important. It gives us a framework to measure, predict, and refine. But if there's one thing I've learned from building systems with my own hands for years, it's this. Equations don't always capture reality. Experiments do. You can build a model on paper that says a battery will stay charged forever, balancing 90% charging efficiency with 95% discharging efficiency, and think you've solved the world's energy problems. But real life has other plans. When I first built my system, it worked almost exactly as the numbers predicted. I charged a high voltage battery using stepped up DC from a 12-volt source, and I discharged that energy in pulses, feeding it into the house. And for a while, it held. The battery didn't drop. The system seemed to reach equilibrium. The input matched the output well enough that I thought, I've done it. But weeks turned into months. And slowly, I noticed the battery wasn't holding charge like it used to. It wasn't catastrophic, it just drifted. What used to run for a full day started running for 20 hours, then 18, then 14. After about a month, I knew what was happening. The math didn't account for battery wear, not fully. And it certainly didn't account for things like internal resistance rising as the battery aged, slight inverter inefficiencies that grew with heat, the difference between theory and the unpredictable behavior of real chemical systems. Eventually, after a year, the system that had once held steady began to deplete the battery in under 8 hours. After 2 years, that same battery couldn't hold up for more than a few cycles. And by the 5th year, I had to replace the battery altogether. So what's the point of all this? I'm not telling you the math was wrong. In fact, the corrected mathematical model we discussed was spot on. Charge energy, 120 joules, raw input. Battery stores 108 joules at 90% efficiency, delivers 102.6 joules at 95% discharge efficiency, overall efficiency 85.5%. And yes, power out per second, 102.6 watts, is higher than power in per second, 80 watts, because the energy is released faster than it was charged. The system is not over unity, it's rate management. But that only tells part of the story. The other part, the part most engineers forget, is that batteries are alive. Not in the literal sense, but chemically. They breathe, they weaken, they decay. And that's what the equations can't simulate. So what did I learn from 5 years of running this system? 1, the concept works. It really does. 2, the chemistry is the engine, but it needs maintenance. 3, if you don't factor in degradation over time, you're building a short-term illusion. 4, but even that illusion lasting a month, a year, or more was still real while it lasted. Find that, to me, was worth every minute of testing. The next time someone says this idea defies physics, show them the numbers. Then show them your lab, your test bench, your field results. Because here's the truth. A real invention is never just numbers, it's performance over time, and I've done the time, 5 years worth. Let me know if you'd like this to be the closing chapter or if you want to add a short epilogue or final reflection to wrap the book with your personal message to the reader. I can also prep this entire manuscript into a downloadable .docx file for you when you're ready.